Good evening, it's Friday the 5th of September and here's what's making news around the world on World News Tonight. Quake alert. Devastating third earthquake strikes as Afghanistan death toll continues to rise. Global support. 26 nations pledge troops to Ukraine in event of ceasefire with Russia. Morning mischief. Brave 5-year-old sneaks out early to satisfy Chick-fil-A breakfast craving.
From Colombo, this is World News Tonight with Selena Jayathilaka.
Good evening once again. A powerful magnitude 5.6 earthquake struck southeastern Afghanistan late last night, marking the third tremor in 6 days. The latest quake adds to a devastating series that has already claimed over 2,200 lives and left thousands more injured. Rescue operations continue amid challenging terrain and aftershocks.
The recent earthquake with its epicenter in the remote Shiwa district near the Pakistan border follows two major quakes earlier this week. These seismic events have caused widespread devastation in Kunar and Nangar provinces, flattening entire villages and leaving over 6,700 homes destroyed. The death toll has surpassed 2,200 with more than 3,600 individuals injured. Survivors face dire conditions with many left without shelter and basic necessities. The United Nations and other aid organizations have warned of dwindling resources, highlighting a critical need for food, medical supplies and shelter. Limited funding and logistical challenges hinder relief efforts, exacerbating the crisis. International organizations, including the World Health Organization and the World Food Programme, are mobilizing support. However, the Taliban-led administration's diplomatic isolation and internal challenges complicate coordination. Rescue operations persist with teams working tirelessly to reach remote areas and provide aid to those in need.
Thailand's parliament convened today to elect a new prime minister following the constitutional court's dismissal of Paetongtarn Shinawatra. Bumjai Thai leader Anutin Charnvirakul, with a coalition of 289 lawmakers, is poised to assume office, potentially ending a period of political instability.
Thailand's constitutional court removed Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra from office on the 29th of August due to an ethics violation. This marked the sixth time in 2 decades that Shinawatra-affiliated premier was ousted by the judiciary or military, intensifying the nation's political instability. In the aftermath, Bumjai Thai party leader Anutin Charnvirakul capitalized on the power vacuum by forming a coalition with the opposition People's Party, securing a combined 289 seats in the 492-member House. This strategic alliance positions him as a front-runner in the prime ministerial vote. The ruling Pheu Thai party, founded by the influential Thaksin Shinawatra, is grappling with internal disarray following Paetongtarn's removal. Thaksin's recent departure to Dubai has further complicated the party's position. In a bid to regain influence, Pheu Thai nominated former Attorney General Chaksim Netsiri as a candidate, promising a new election if he wins. However, this move appears to have limited support, with the People's Party opting to stay in position.
President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to implement the lower tariffs on Japanese automobile imports and other products announced in July. The order reduces auto tariffs from 27.5% to 15%, effective 7 days after publication, and includes retroactive adjustments to August 7th.
Donald Trump Day signed an order implementing lower tariffs on Japanese cars and other goods. The agreement on lower duties had been announced in July, but not yet put into effect. It cuts duties on Japanese cars from 27.5% to 15%, with the lower rate kicking in 7 days after publication of Trump's order. Speaking Friday, Tokyo's chief trade negotiator, Ryosei Akazawa, said it was a relief to finally have a deal in place. Though the tariffs remain painful, the news is a relief for Japan's critical auto sector. Toyota said last month that it expected a hit of nearly $10 billion as a result of the trade war. The deal includes a promise that Japan will invest $550 billion in the US, and Trump's order says Tokyo will work to increase procurement of US rice by 75%. It says purchases of other farm goods will also increase, including corn, soybeans and fertilizer, though the Japanese government has vowed that it will not sacrifice the country's farmers as part of the agreement. Thursday's news brings some clarity to a key relationship. Two-way trade between the nations reached nearly $230 billion last year, with Japan running a surplus of almost $70 billion. Tokyo says the deal includes a promise that it will always get the lowest tariff on chips and drugs of any deals negotiated by Washington. It also expects the 15% rate not to be stacked on top of existing tariffs. In July, the EU agreed the same baseline rate as part of its deal with Washington. South Korea said that it was assessing the Japanese agreement, with its automakers currently facing higher US tariffs.
A federal judge has ruled that the Trump administration unlawfully terminated approximately $2.2 billion in research grants to Harvard University, violating the institution's First Amendment rights. The court has ordered the reinstatement of the funding and barred further cuts, marking a significant legal victory for the university.
In the fight between Harvard and the Trump administration, the U.S.'s oldest university just scored a major legal win. A federal judge ruled that the government's revoking of some $2.2 billion in research funding was illegal. For students, it was a go crimson moment.
It made me happy to know that the judicial system is sticking up for us.
A lot of that money is being used for life-saving research to advance, research in Alzheimer's, cancer. It's being put to good causes, and it's not like the advances that are being made from Harvard are insular.
The U.S. government had argued that it was canceling grants because of anti-Semitism on campus. But in an 84-page ruling, the Boston federal judge Allison Burroughs said the cuts were a violation of free speech rights.
There is, in reality, little connection between the research affected by the grant terminations and anti-Semitism. Trump used anti-Semitism as a smokescreen for the targeted, ideologically motivated assault on this country's premier universities.
The White House has vowed to appeal, calling Burroughs an activist Obama-appointed judge. Still in talks over a possible settlement deal, Harvard also issued a statement, with its president saying that the ruling affirms important principles and that it will be mindful of the changing landscape. Already, 3 Ivy League universities have reached settlements with the Trump administration. For a former Harvard president, the assault on American universities is part of a larger power grab.
The agenda here is about destroying knowledge institutions because they are centers of independent thought and information. That's what's going on here. That is the story. Nothing justifies that. Nothing explains that, other than authoritarians don't like independent centers of thought and information.
Already, U.S. courts have struck down Trump's quests to bar Harvard's international students, revoke accreditation status, and cut more funds to the university.
Let's go in for a short commercial break. More world news coming right after this. Welcome back. Israeli forces have intensified their operations in Gaza City, claiming control over 40% of the urban center. Recent airstrikes and tank assaults have resulted in at least 53 fatalities. The campaign, launched on August 10th, aims to dismantle Hamas infrastructure. However, it has drawn significant international and domestic criticism due to the resulting humanitarian crisis.
Chaos following a deadly airstrike at a displacement camp in Gaza City. Israel has ramped up its attacks ahead of a planned takeover of the urban center in the north by the Israeli military.
We continue to systematically target Hamas infrastructure. We can see on the screen an example of an underground explosion in the Zaytun neighborhood. I remind you, it's in the city of Gaza, following an underground explosion. Currently, we hold 40% of the area of Gaza City. The operation will continue to expand and intensify in the coming days.
Meanwhile, concerns continue to grow over the dire humanitarian crisis inside the territory. Last month, the UN declared a famine in and around Gaza City, where almost 1 million people live. And humanitarian groups say that conditions have only worsened since.
Only 44 of the 92 UNICEF-supported outpatient nutrition treatment centres in Gaza City are still functional, depleting thousands of malnourished children of more than half of the lifelines.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is moving forward with plans to take over Gaza City in spite of growing international pressure against it. While most EU officials have shied away from calling Israel's actions a genocide, Teresa Ribera, Executive Vice President of the European Commission, did just that, speaking to students at Sciences Po in Paris.
The genocide in Gaza exposes Europe's failure to act and speak with one voice, even as protests spread across European cities and 14 United Nations Security Council members called for an immediate ceasefire.
The vast majority of Gazans are already displaced, but a senior Israeli military official said the coming offensive would push an estimated 1 million Palestinians south, away from Gaza City.
In a significant development, 26 European nations have committed to providing security guarantees for Ukraine, pledging to deploy troops and resources once a ceasefire with Russia is established. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the agreement, emphasizing the importance of US support in these efforts.
After a day of intense talks at the Élysée Palace, the coalition of the willing has reached an agreement.
Bien, Monsieur le Président, cher Volodymyr. Nous avons aujourd'hui 26 pays qui formellement.
Today, 26 countries have formally agreed, and some others still have to confirm their position. 26 countries have agreed to deploy troops as security guarantees, troops in Ukraine, which will be present on the ground, at sea, and in the skies, to bring that reassurance to Ukraine the day after a ceasefire or peace deal.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the agreement and expressed his gratitude for America's support.
We agreed that there will be a presence. I'm not yet ready to speak about the numbers, although, to be honest, we already understand an approximate number of those who've already agreed. We're also discussing a matter which I believe will be further discussed. It's the backstop of America. We count on that. We are very grateful to America for supporting and being a part of the security guarantees for Ukraine.
The coalition concluded the talks with a call with US President Donald Trump. A White House official was quoted as telling reporters that Trump urged Europe to stop buying Russian oil and put pressure on China to punish it for funding Russia's war efforts. On Thursday morning, a spokesperson for the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the guarantees would be a springboard for provocation.
They're not guarantees of Ukraine's security. They're guarantees of danger to the European continent.
The coalition of the willing now looks to the US to formalize the plan in the coming days.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has declared a new outbreak of the Ebola virus, marking its first since 2022. Health authorities report 28 suspected cases and 15 confirmed deaths in Kasai province. The World Health Organization warns that case numbers are likely to rise as transmission continues.
The Democratic Republic of Congo declared a new outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus with more than a dozen deaths recorded. The health ministry said samples tested on Wednesday had confirmed the presence of the virus. It said the initial signal for the outbreak came when a 34-year-old pregnant woman was hospitalized in Kasai province on August 20th. Her symptoms included high fever and vomiting, according to the ministry.
Malheureusement, il y a eu des agents.
The country's health minister says the virus spread to those who cared for her. They later died, as well as the patient. Ebola is a rare but often fatal illness in humans that is transmitted through contact with blood and other bodily fluids. The World Health Organization warns case numbers are likely to increase, but says Congo has a stockpile of treatments as well as 2,000 doses of vaccines. Congo has recorded over a dozen outbreaks, including a devastating outbreak from 2018 to 2020 that killed nearly 2,300 people.
Former US President Joe Biden, 82, recently underwent Mohs surgery to remove skin cancer lesions from his forehead. This procedure follows his May diagnosis of metastatic prostate cancer. Biden is reportedly recovering well, according to a spokesperson.
Joe Biden underwent Mohs surgery, a precise technique used to treat common skin cancers like basal cell carcinoma. The procedure involves removing thin layers of skin until no cancerous cells remain, preserving healthy tissue. Biden had a similar procedure in 2023 with removal of basal cell carcinoma from his chest. In May 2025, Biden was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that had metastasized to his bones, classified as stage 4. Despite its severity, his cancer is hormone sensitive, allowing for effective treatment options. The cancer scored a 9 out of 10 on the Gleason scale, indicating high aggressiveness. Following his diagnosis, Biden received an outpouring of support from both Democrats and Republicans. He has been a vocal advocate for cancer research, relaunching the Cancer Moonshot Initiative in 2022 to reduce cancer death rates. Biden's commitment to cancer awareness continues to inspire many.
Time for a short break now. We'll be right back with more world news. Welcome back. A 5-year-old boy from Jacksonville, Florida, embarked on an early morning adventure, sneaking out of his home barefoot to satisfy his craving for Chick-fil-A. Found enjoying a breakfast sandwich at the restaurant, he was escorted home by police, leaving his parents both relieved and astonished.
Cops race into a Chick-fil-A at 7 a.m., but it's not the scene of a crime. Hey, buddy. They were called after this 5-year-old kid, who was craving a Chick-fil-A breakfast, sneaked out of the house while his parents were fast asleep.
You know where your house is, right, honey?
It's right across the street, right over there.
Okay, cool.
His name is William, and he strolled to the restaurant barefoot. He had one big question.
Are you going to get me in jail?
No, I'm not going to put you in jail.
Instead, they bring him home.
Hey, do you have a son?
William.
Yeah, a little boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was down at the Chick-fil-A.
Are you kidding me?
No, we have him in our police car. You want to come get him?
Mom, still in her bathrobe, is thankful her hungry little man is home safe.
An 8-year-old Philadelphia Eagles fan, William Avere, received a heartwarming surprise ahead of the NFL season opener. Battling a rare eye cancer, William was gifted Super Bowl 60 tickets by his favorite team.
For as long as 8-year-old William Weir can remember, it's been fly, Eagles fly.
Eagles kick butt.
Now it's the Eagles cheering him on after his health took a sudden turn last year.
William in the beginning was starting to complain of headaches.
His mom Stephanie says his vision began to change. Soon after, he was diagnosed with retinoblastoma, a rare form of eye cancer.
He doesn't deserve to be going through this, and we needed to fight for him.
William would undergo brain surgery, but through the hard times, William's flock came to his side.
Hey, what's up, William?
Including retired Eagles defensive end Brandon Graham.
I'm thinking about you and rooting for you and wishing you all the best.
And a hospital visit from stars Jalix Hunt and William's favorite, Cooper DeJean.
Every time the Eagles played, he had lights strung up on the back of his bed.
As he got better, the Eagles invited him for a preseason reunion on their turf, hanging with Swoop during practice. And then, just yesterday, William completed his last day of radiation just in time for the biggest surprise of all, getting tickets to Super Bowl 60.
Going through this hard journey, it's really amazing that they're just continuing to think of him because he deserves it.
They stand ready to cheer each other on.
And with that, we come to the end of today's edition of World News Tonight. With the hopes of seeing you again, I'm Selena Jayathilaka, and we leave you tonight with the visuals of celebrations of Armani's timeless elegance in 50 years. Also, don't forget to send us your feedback through email at feedback.ad24english@derana.lk or via WhatsApp at 076 805 7933. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.